Legendary West Indies cricketer, world record holder, and former captain Brian Lara is now in Zimbabwe with the West Indies Test squad as performance mentor. Being the skeptic that I am, the first thing that came to my mind, why is Lara in Zimbabwe with the Test squad and not in South Africa with the senior ladies team that is preparing for a World Cup in less than 2 weeks? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Forum. Thank you for tuning in. Please, as usual, slash a like on the video, share, and subscribe. And click those links in the video description and support Best Buy USA and Soulmate Cricket Shoes, who is sponsoring today's broadcast. Yesterday evening, word came that Brian Lara has agreed to assist Cricket West Indies as a performance mentor, working across all international teams with input into the West Indies Academy. So Brian Lara will be more or less like a technical director, as he will be working with all international teams. I take that to mean the ODI, the T20, the Test squad, the female teams, and the academy. Or is it a case that the female teams are not considered international teams? Because the first question that came to my mind when I saw this is, should he be in South Africa with the female team? Since it said all international teams. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I would have preferred that if he is assisting as a performance mentor across all international teams, that would mean also the female teams. And which is more important for West Indies cricket? Is it the success of the Test team, or is it the ladies winning a World Cup? Many would say it is because of our Test status as a full membership at the ICC, why we get the allocation from ICC monthly. And the female team, whether they win a World Cup or not, it will not affect our monthly allocation from the ICC. Mark you, at this time, Zimbabwe is getting roughly 960,000 US dollars a month from the ICC, while Cricket West Indies is getting 1.2 million. I don't know if losing the series against New Zealand will affect that. I'm being honest with you, I do not know. But the release went on to say, Lara's role will be to support various head coaches in providing players with tactical advice and improving their game sense, their game awareness. We saw these games awareness lacking in West Indies players. There are many instances where we could point out, but one that is glaring, and I really know that all of us who saw it, although it happened many years ago, but this is glaring, the run out of Kieran Powell in that Test match against Pakistan. And even recently, although he was not playing for the West Indies, but Raymond Reefer run out last week in that T20 match in the International League T20 was disgraceful and embarrassing and showed a lack of awareness, of game awareness and game situation. As well as working closely with the Director of Cricket on ICC World Cup tournament and strategic planning. And that is where I'm wondering if the Women World Cup is not an ICC World Cup tournament. And that's why I'm asking the question, because the release said, as well as working closely with the Director of Cricket on ICC World Cup tournament strategic planning. And if we have a World Cup coming up in less than 2 weeks, and the ladies are struggling, I am asking myself, wouldn't it be best for Brian Lara to be in South Africa with the ladies and not with the test team? I'm humble asking. The Director of Cricket, Adam, said, I'm really looking forward to Brian Lara making a significant contribution by providing invaluable guidance and advice to our players and coaches. Well said, Adams. And I hope these are not words. And I hope the players will accept the guidance. No one is asking them to accept everything that Lara said. It would not be a human to do that. But in general, we hope that they accept the theme and the foundation of what he's saying. Because in the end, Brian Lara never scored 400 test runs in one innings unless he knew something. He never scored 500 runs in first-class cricket in one innings unless he knows something about batting. He never scored 11,953 test runs unless he knew something about batting, about tactics, about endurance, about techniques. So I hope these players will find it to accept the basis of what he's saying. We are not asking them, as I said, to accept everything he said word for word. But try and find some sense, some sweet spot from what he's saying, and try and use those things to improve your game. Adams went on to say, we are confident that Brian will help to improve our high performance mindset. Improve our high performance mindset. We really do hope that the West Indies team start performing at an higher level. We really do hope. But high performance mindset, I did not know that the West Indies players have a high performance mindset. But that as it is, I don't want to nitpick. But I really do hope that Lara being there, it will access a wealth of knowledge from his brain. The players will access that knowledge. As Adam said, our high performance mindset, to improve our high performance mindset and strategic culture that will bring us more success on the field across all formats. Everyone is excited to have Brian. I endorse that. I am very excited that he has joined up with the West Indies squad. I am very excited at the role that he has been given. And Brian Lara said that the only thing that is closer to his heart than his family and his close friends is West Indies cricket. So I know that he's very serious and genuinely care about West Indies cricket and want to see West Indies cricket do well again. And I'm excited. I am excited. And I remember when Lara was a cricketer, one of the complaints that the guys used to complain about Lara was because of his work ethics. Lara used to outwork them day in, day out. He used to train harder than them longer than them, and they did not like it because he was showing up their work attitude. I hope Lara will bring this great work ethics to this squad, to these squads, as the release said, across all formats and across ICC World Cup tournament. I am very excited. I would like to think that the entire West Indies and the entire Caribbean and all those who have the best interests of West Indies cricket at heart is excited about this appointment. Or is it an appointment? Because we do not know if Brian Lara has been paid or is volunteering. I hope he's getting paid. And even others' jurisdiction, this would have been released. It would have been released that he's getting paid or he's volunteering. It would even have been released how much he's getting paid. In others' jurisdiction, this would have been done. But we're talking about CWI. And some may say, why do we need to release his salary if he's getting paid? Well, we are all stakeholders in West Indies cricket, in Cricket West Indies. We are all stakeholders. I am a stakeholder. And while I not necessarily need to know how much Lara has been paid, it would, I think, just as in others' jurisdiction, nothing is really wrong with releasing his salary if he's getting paid. If he's not getting paid, we need to be told so. Lara, for his part, said, I really believe that I can help the players with their mental approach to the game and with their tactics to be more successful. That is confidence. That is not hope. As Desmond Haynes said he hopes, Lara said, I really believe that I can help. That is confidence. And I appreciate that statement from Brian Lara. Please remember, slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. And click on the link in the video descriptions and support those companies that are supporting the Cricket Forum. My understanding is that Lara responsibilities will be one. He will be responsible for analyzing players' performances to determine their strengths and weaknesses and develop strategies to improve performance. That's number one. Very good. And that's why we all need to hope for the success of this program. That he will analyze players' performances, determine their strengths and weaknesses, and develop strategies to improve performance. Now, if this is done, it now becomes the responsibility of the players to accept these guidance from the great man himself. Number two, he will be asked to creating individualized training programs for players to improve performances. So it is almost like net fishing. He's not going to just use a net and throw it over all the players. He will be looking at the players, analyzing their performances, and will be creating individualized training program for players to improve their performances. Number three, he will be observing and assessing players' performances during competitions or practices to provide feedback to the coaches on techniques and strategies adjustment. Very good. We all hope these things work. And we hope that when he makes these recommendations to the coaches, they do not feel as if they should not be taking them. I'm very happy for this. The fourth thing is that he will be assisting coaches with game planning and preparation for competitions. And again, you look at that and you ask, why is he not in South Africa with the female team that is preparing for a World Cup in less than 2 weeks' time? Why? And the fifth thing is providing motivation and encouragement to players during practice sessions and competitions. It is my understanding that those are the 5 responsibilities that will be Brian Lara's own. I thank you for watching. I'm coming to your comments shortly. Today is a busy day for cricket. I will be back later. I'll be releasing a video on Cricket West Indies presidency, where it is shaping up to be a battle between Shallow and Dave Cameron. Also today, the semi-finals of the Ladies Under-19 World Cup is taking place. Australia is playing England in one such semi-finals. The score in that match is 74-7, England batting. So Australia is on top. Presently going on, England is playing South Africa in an ODI match. And that match have implications for West Indies' direct qualification to the World Cup later this year in India, October this year. As I've said in a previous video, West Indies is currently sitting 8th. And South Africa, who has 5 matches remaining, 3 against England and 2 against the Netherlands, need to win 3 of those 5 matches to surpass West Indies in 8th position. Should England win all of these 3 ODIs, it means that West Indies will remain in 8th position and only Sri Lanka can surpass them, and Sri Lanka would have to beat New Zealand in New Zealand for that to happen. So we are hoping that England will win this series 3-love. Also coming up later today, India will play New Zealand in the first T20 International. I may bring that second innings live as a watch-along. So there's a lots of cricket going on today, and I'll be here a lot today. But we hope that this Brian Lara appointment, our assistance, will work for the benefit of Cricket West Indies. I thank you for tuning in. And as I said, please slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. I'm going to take your comments now, starting from the top. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Blessing Caris. Good morning, Sheldon. Claude Murphy, good morning. Look, all the West Indies players, all are low on confidence. They play like they don't know what they're doing. And we really hope that Brian Lara will help in this regard, Claude Murphy, because one of his responsibilities, as I said, will be to motivate the players. Both teams are in the same geographic location. Both teams are in the same geographic location. Lara will visit both. I am aware that both teams are in the same geographic location, and I hope that he does visit both. But the release coming from Cricket West Indies, Sheldon, and I know that they listen to this program, so after listening to this program, they may adjust. The release coming from Cricket West Indies clearly states that he will be working with the test squad in Zimbabwe. They said nothing about he going to South Africa to help the women. It clearly states. If the release had said nothing, then we could assume this. But because the release clearly stated that he will be in Zimbabwe working with the test squad, we have to assume that the ladies were not considered. But as usual, they have their spies listening to us. So now that we have brought it up, we expect that he will go to South Africa. Lara will check on the women as well, but the men team will get top priority. Manners to all, greetings Damian Simit. West Indies women team has a serious deficit in talent, especially in batting. Last few years plus injuries now. Well, Caris, the team is really struggling now. But I've pointed out that in the last 2 World Cup, especially the one last year March, the team reached the semi-finals. The team reached the semi-finals, and the core of the squad that reached the semi-finals is still there. So I do not necessarily believe there's a deficit in talent. I do not. And as I said yesterday or Wednesday, it is difficult for me to say this. It is difficult. But I do not think Courtney Walsh is getting the best out of this team. Courtney Walsh is a legendary West Indies cricketer, and no one can take away his contribution to West Indies cricket. That will always bring joy to our heart. What Walsh has done for West Indies cricket, he has brought many, many happy moments to us. Who can forget that morning in Barbados against South Africa? Who can forget that test, I think in 1990, 1992, 93, it was 93, against Australia at the Sydney Cricket Ground. So Walsh has brought many, many happy moments to West Indies cricket. And no one should take away that from him. His contributions are legendary, but I do not believe that he's getting the best out of this team. I do not believe that this team is as poor as they are performing. And I am calling that the head coach, it is time for him to go. I can imagine the old talk Lara had to endure with doing commentary in Australia. I am just sorry that we still don't have Simmons. John P. Nicol, good morning. Good morning. I can see the men's team improving with Lara's involvement. And that is our hope. And that is why we're so excited about it, John P. Nicol. I am very excited. And I can feel the excitement building up. And John P., I'm going to talk about Cameron and Shallow in a video, I think at the break of the England-South Africa innings. Sadly, I cannot say the same for the pathetic women team. John P. always uses some strong words. He's always using some strong words. Pathetic. Sheldon is no way they would have kept Simmons on. Horrible optics cause of the T20 World Cup, which I don't blame him for, but CWI will wish they had him after the Zimbabwe and SA series. So, in short, Lara is our new head coach. And that's why I said at the beginning, he's like the technical director. Not the new head coach, he's like a technical director. I know Sheldon, the responsibilities that I list for Brian Lara would suggest that he is the head coach. But you cannot have head coach, you cannot have one person being head coach for all teams across all formats plus the cricket academy. So he's more like a technical director in which I assume he's going to meet with all the coaches and lay down the strategy and the tactics going forward. So he's more or less a technical director. Lara will tell them harsh statements like he's not good enough and he's not serious about cricket and he has to change his whole techniques. Let's see if our spoiled players can handle it. I do not necessarily have an issue with that as long as it is communicated in an effective way. And when we hear squealing start coming from these players, we will know that Lara is having an effect and we should back him and support him. If it is business as usual, these players will remain comfortable and they will not say anything. But if it is not business as usual, if the standard has risen, they will start squeal. And when the squealing comes, we have to support Brian Lara. We have to. Remember, I am calling upon this community that when the players start squeal because Lara has raised the standard, we must back Lara. Because Lara has performed and he knew what it takes to perform. These players are not performers. They are jokes. And the standard must raise. Australia got another wicket. England is now 91 for 8. 91 for 8 after 17.4 overs in the semi-finals of the ICC Under-19 Women Cricket. Let's see if our spoiled players can handle it. They better handle it. because the entire West Indies should support Lara and don't support these players. I think Dave Cameron should go for the presidency. That's John P. Nicol. You see, John P. Nicol, I report what is going on when it comes to politics. And the presidency of Cricket West Indies is sheer politics. I will report what is happening in a few hours from now, the latest developments. But I don't usually comment on politics as such. Claude Murphy, I see the appointment as a positive step for West Indies cricket. Remember, his first love has always been Test cricket. He said that as his third love. So I believe he wants to make an impact there first. And I'm just teasing Claude Murphy. He said that his first love was his family and his second love was his friends. And cricket, West Indies cricket, is his third love. I'm just teasing you though. I understand what you mean. I hope you appreciate the teasing. Caris, Dutton, not around, and Taylor has been past their prime years now. Those two carried us for years. No one to replace them. It says there's no programs or proper development of cricket in regional, sadly. Can our coaches implement Lara recommendations? I believe they can. And they will be forced to, Sheldon. They will be forced to, else we'll have to get overseas coaches. And I genuinely believe, and I'm saying this to this community, I genuinely believe that we have good coaches. What I think is that the players have the power and the players are not listening to the coaches. That's what I generally believe. When last have you heard of a West Indies cricketer being reprimanded? When last have you heard of a West Indies cricketer being suspended or sent home? When last have you heard a West Indies cricketer crying out, squealing, so to speak? It's because everything is a bodyism. So everything is okie dokie. So that is why the coaches were unable to implement their strategies. But once that power is taken away from the players, and the players have to do what the coaches are saying, and it's only CW I can give the coaches that power. And I hope that Brian Lara will claim that power. And once Brian Lara claims that power, we should see an improvement in our teams. As talented as Lara was, he always worked very hard. Could be seen running around the Queen's Park Savannah. Hope he could instill some discipline in these guys. That is our hope. That is our hope. And I think that it will either be Lara or them. I don't think it will be both. It's either Lara is going to have his ways or he's going to leave. And I won't blame him. Because Lara should not settle for substandard. He should not settle, as I said, for substandard. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please slash a like on the video, share and subscribe. And I encourage you to support Soulmate Cricket Shows and Best Buy USA. Click those links in the video description. Click the subscribe button. Thank you all and see you in a few hours. Have a great morning.